After Rebirth, I refused the national exam everyone fought for. Chapter 1. The exam I refused to take. The day of the National Destiny exam was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. Instead, it became the day I died. My name is Ethan Carter. 3 years ago, millions of students competed for a chance to enter the National Destiny exam. The government called it the greatest opportunity in the country. Pass the exam, and your future was guaranteed. Fame, money, power, everything. On exam day, my younger sister Emma cried and begged me, "Brother, let me take your place. I've studied harder than you. I deserve it more." My parents immediately supported her. "Ethan, you're the older brother. You should sacrifice for your sister." Just like always. In the end, I gave her my exam ticket, the only chance I had, the only future that belonged to me. Emma entered the exam hall. I stayed outside. That afternoon, shocking news spread across the nation. Emma achieved a perfect score, the highest score in history. Our family became famous overnight. Interviewers came daily. Sponsors offered millions. Emma became the nation's genius. And me? I became the forgotten brother, the stepping stone beneath her feet. For 10 years, I worked like a slave to support the family. Then one night, while drunk, Emma finally revealed the truth. She laughed, a cruel laugh. Perfect score? That wasn't because of talent. My heart stopped. What do you mean? Emma smirked. The National Destiny exam wasn't an exam. It was a selection. A cold chill ran down my spine. A selection for what? Emma leaned closer. For luck. The winner steals the future of the person who gives up their seat. I froze. No, she laughed harder. Yes, everything I gained belonged to you. The perfect score, the wealth, the opportunities, the destiny. It was all yours. My entire world collapsed. 10 years. 10 years of suffering. 10 years of sacrifice. All because I trusted my family. Then my father spoke. "Honestly, Ethan, you were always the less talented child." My mother nodded. Emma deserved it more. That night, they pushed me off a mountain cliff. The family I sacrificed everything for killed me. The last thing I saw was Emma smiling. Then darkness swallowed me. "Ethan!" I opened my eyes. My chest heaved violently. The classroom, the desks, the students, the calendar. My blood froze. National Destiny exam registration day. 3 years earlier, I had returned. I was reborn. The classroom door burst open. Emma ran inside. Just as I remembered, her eyes were red, her voice trembling. "Brother, please, give me your exam ticket." The entire class looked toward us. Just like last time, just like the day my future was stolen. My parents soon arrived. My father placed a hand on my shoulder. "You're the older brother." My mother smiled. "Family comes first." I looked at them, the people who murdered me, the people who stole my destiny. Slowly, I smiled, a smile that made Emma strangely uneasy. Of course. The entire family relaxed. Emma nearly jumped with joy. "I knew you'd agree." But before anyone could celebrate, I stood up. I grabbed the registration form, then tore it in half. RIP. The room fell silent. Everyone stared at me, including Emma. "What are you doing?" I looked directly into her eyes, the same eyes that watched me die. Then I said the words that would change everything. "I'm not taking the National Destiny exam, and neither are you." For the first time since my rebirth, Emma looked afraid, because she didn't know what I knew. The exam everyone dreamed of entering was actually a trap. And this time, I refused to be the sacrifice. End of Chapter 1. Chapter 2, The Exam Hall of the Dead. The classroom fell silent. Ethan's torn registration form drifted to the floor. Everyone stared at him. His sister Emma looked as if she had seen a ghost. "What did you just do?" Ethan ignored her. He had already lived this day once, and he knew exactly what was coming. His father was the first to explode. "Are you insane?" The classroom shook with his roar. "Do you know how important that exam is?" His mother rushed forward. "Ethan, stop joking. Pick it up. Now." Emma's eyes turned red. "Brother, why are you doing this?" The entire class watched the drama unfold. Some were shocked, others laughed. After all, who would voluntarily give up the greatest opportunity in the nation? Only Ethan knew the truth. Because the National Destiny exam wasn't an exam. It was a harvest, a machine that stole futures. And in his previous life, he had been the first victim. That afternoon, the school emergency announcement suddenly activated. Ding, ding, ding. A cold mechanical voice echoed across campus. "Special notice. National Destiny exam participation is now mandatory." The entire school froze. "What?" Students looked at each other. "Mandatory? That had never happened before," the voice continued. "All registered candidates must report tomorrow at 8 a.m. Absence will result in permanent disqualification." Ethan's blood ran cold. This hadn't happened in his previous life. The timeline was changing. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. Rain hammered against his bedroom window. At exactly midnight, ding, a strange notification appeared in front of him. "Golden." "Brilliant." "Impossible." "Rebirth host detected." Ethan sat upright. What? The screen continued. Future knowledge confirmed. Destiny survival system activated. His heart nearly stopped. A system? Mission 1, survive the National Destiny exam. Reward, unknown. Failure, death. The room became silent. Death. Not failure. Not punishment. Death. Just like he remembered. The next morning, thousands of students arrived at the National Examination Center. The building looked more like a fortress than a school. Armed guards surrounded every entrance. Massive black walls stretched toward the sky. Students lined up nervously. Ethan immediately spotted Emma. She was smiling, confident, excited, exactly like she had been in his previous life. She still believed the exam would make her rich. She had no idea it would destroy her. As the doors opened, every candidate entered. The moment Ethan stepped inside, ding, the lights flickered. Every screen in the building turned black. Then red words appeared. Welcome, candidates. The room became silent. A new message appeared. Today's exam has changed. Students began whispering nervously. What does that mean? Then the next sentence appeared, and the entire hall exploded into panic. Only 100 students will leave alive. Screams filled the room. Some students tried running. Others burst into tears. Teachers looked horrified, but the doors slammed shut. Boom! Locked. A countdown appeared above the stage. 23:59:59. Survival exam begins now. Emma's face turned white. For the first time, she looked afraid. Meanwhile, Ethan stared at the giant screen. His expression remained calm, because this time, he knew the rules. And this time, he wasn't the sacrifice. End of Chapter 2.
Chapter 3. The First Elimination. The giant countdown glowed above the exam hall. 23 hours, 58 minutes, and 43 seconds.
23:58分42秒 23:58分41秒
Thousands of students stared at the screen in terror. Some were crying. Others were pounding on the locked doors. The teachers looked just as frightened. Nobody understood what was happening, except Ethan, because he had already seen this nightmare once before. Ding! The giant screen flickered. A cold, mechanical voice echoed through the hall. Welcome to round 1. Everyone froze. Rule 1. Choose your desk within 60 seconds. Rows of exam desks suddenly rose from the floor. Thousands of them. Each desk had a glowing number. The countdown changed.
Mezzanotte e 59 0:58 0:57
What kind of exam is this? A student shouted. No one answered. Panic spread through the hall. Students rushed toward random seats. Ethan didn't move. He remembered. In his previous life, the seat mattered. Emma noticed him standing still. Brother! She grabbed his arm. We need seats. Ethan looked at the desks. Most students were fighting over seats near the front, the so-called best seats. The same mistake everyone made, including Emma. Suddenly, Ethan spotted it. Desk 4444, hidden in the back corner. Almost nobody wanted it because of the unlucky number. But Ethan remembered. That seat saved his life. Without hesitation, he walked toward it. Emma stared. What are you doing? That's a terrible seat. Ethan ignored her. The countdown continued.
Mezzanotte e 15 0:14 0:13
Emma laughed. You're crazy. Then she rushed toward seat 001, the most desirable seat in the room, exactly as she had done in his previous life. The timer hit 0. Ding! The doors locked again. The lights turned blood red. A new message appeared. Round 1 complete. Everyone waited nervously. Then, boom! A scream echoed through the hall. A boy near the center suddenly collapsed. Blood poured from his nose. Then another student fell, and another, and another. Panic exploded. What is happening? The giant screen answered. Seat elimination activated. Students stared in horror. A list appeared. Hundreds of seat numbers turned black. Every student sitting in those seats screamed, then vanished, gone, as if they had never existed. The hall erupted into chaos. Teachers screamed. Students cried. Some fainted. Emma's face became pale because seat 001 was glowing red. No. Emma's voice trembled. No, no, no. Her seat number appeared on the screen. Seat 001, eliminated. The countdown beside her name began. 10th.
9 8
Emma started crying. Brother. For the first time since Rebirth, she looked genuinely terrified. Help me! The hall watched helplessly. Nobody knew what to do. Nobody except Ethan, because he remembered something. A hidden rule. the same rule that saved him in his previous life. Slowly he stood and smiled, because the real exam had finally begun. End of Chapter 3.
Chapter 4. The Hidden Rule. The giant screen flashed red. Seat 001, elimination in progress. The countdown continued. So, on B. Emma collapsed to her knees. Tears streamed down her face. Brother! Please save me. The entire exam hall watched. Thousands of students were trapped. Yet no one could help. Everyone was too busy praying their own seat number wouldn't appear next. Emma grabbed Ethan's arm. Her hands trembled. You know something? Her voice cracked. You've been acting strange ever since registration day. Tell me how to survive. For a moment, Ethan remained silent. He remembered the previous life. The same sister, the same tears, the same desperate expression. Back then, he would have sacrificed everything for her, and she repaid him by stealing his future. 4, 3. So, the countdown continued. Students turned away. Nobody wanted to witness what happened next. Then, ding, a golden screen appeared before Ethan. Only he could see it. Hidden rule discovered. His eyes narrowed. Just as he remembered, the system continued. Each student may exchange seats once. Cost 1 future opportunity. Ethan's heart sank. That was the catch. Nothing in this exam was free. To save someone now, you would lose something precious later. Emma saw Ethan's expression change. Her eyes widened. You know a way? She grabbed him desperately. Please tell me. The countdown reached. Wanda. The entire hall held its breath. Then Ethan stood. Seat exchange. His voice echoed through the hall. Everyone froze. The giant screen suddenly flickered. Hidden rule activated. Thousands of students gasped. A new message appeared. Seat exchange available. The room exploded into chaos. What? There was another rule?
Why didn't they tell us?
Students immediately began shouting and bargaining. The exam had become even more terrifying. Emma looked at Ethan as if he were her savior. Brother, you'll save me, right? Silence. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Ethan smiled. Not warmly, not cruelly, just calmly. Why should I? Emma froze. The words hit harder than any slap. You begged for my exam ticket. You wanted my future. You never once thought about what happened to me. Emma's face turned pale. Students nearby listened in silence. Nobody understood their history, but everyone could feel the tension. Then suddenly, boom! The entire building shook. The lights flickered. Screams erupted. A new message appeared on the giant screen. Warning. External interference detected. Every student stared upward. The countdown disappeared. The hall became silent. Then another sentence appeared. One that made Ethan's blood run cold. Another reborn candidate has been found. Ethan froze. What? Another reborn person? Impossible. He wasn't supposed to be the only one? The screen continued. Round 2 will begin early.
Round 2 will begin early. Find the other reborn candidate. Reward, survival. Failure, elimination. The entire hall erupted into panic. But Ethan only stared at the screen. Because for the first time since returning to the past, something had changed. Something he didn't remember. And that terrified him more than anything. End of Chapter 4. Chapter 5. The Second Reborn. The giant screen glowed blood red. Another reborn candidate has been found. The entire exam hall erupted into chaos. What does that mean? Reborn? Is this some kind of joke? Students shouted from every corner. Teachers looked just as confused. Only Ethan understood the true meaning, and that terrified him. Because rebirth wasn't supposed to happen. It wasn't luck. It wasn't fate. It was an impossible miracle. Yet now, the system had confirmed someone else had returned from the future, just like him. Emma grabbed Ethan's sleeve. Her face was pale. What is a reborn candidate? Ethan remained silent. He couldn't tell her. Not after everything she had done. Not after the life she stole. Ding. The giant screen changed. A list of student names appeared. Thousands of names. Then one name suddenly began flashing gold. The entire hall stared. Leeway, a handsome boy standing near the front row, froze. Me? Students immediately backed away. Whispers spread through the hall. It's him. The reborn candidate. Leeway looked genuinely confused. I don't know what's happening. But before anyone could react, another name flashed. Ethan Carter. Silence. The hall froze. Every eye turned toward Ethan. Emma's face became white. No. The screen displayed 2 reborn candidates detected. The atmosphere changed instantly. A moment ago, everyone had been victims. Now they had targets. Students began staring at Ethan and Li Wei. Fear, suspicion, hatred. A new system message appeared. Round 2 mission. Find the false reborn candidate. Time limit 60 minutes. Gasps filled the room. What? There are 2 of them. One is fake? The screen continued. If the wrong candidate is chosen, everyone fails. The hall exploded. Panic. Arguments. Accusations. Li Wei immediately pointed at Ethan. It's him! I've never seen that screen before. Students started shouting. Yeah, that guy always acts suspicious. Choose Ethan! Emma stared between the 2 boys. Her heart pounded. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. Then Ethan noticed something. Li Wei's reaction was too perfect, too prepared, as if he already knew what the mission would be. A cold chill ran down Ethan's spine. Then he remembered. A face, a memory, a nightmare from his previous life. The #1 student of the National Destiny exam. The person who had eventually disappeared without explanation.
Li Wei.
The real truth hit Ethan like lightning. Li Wei wasn't another victim. He wasn't another survivor. He was something far worse. He smiled, a calm smile nobody else noticed. But Ethan did. And for the first time since his rebirth, fear entered Ethan's heart. Because he finally understood. The system hadn't found another reborn candidate. It had found the person who killed him in his previous life. End of Chapter 5. Chapter 6. The False Candidate. The exam hall had never been quieter. Thousands of students stared at Ethan, then at Li Wei, then back again. Only one question remained. Who was lying? The giant screen flashed. Round 2. Find the false reborn candidate. Time remaining, 59:58. The countdown began. Every second felt heavier than the last. Li Wei stepped forward first. His expression was calm, confident, too confident. If I were truly the enemy, he said, why would the system reveal my name? Many students nodded. It sounded reasonable. The real imposter is Ethan. Li Wei pointed directly at him. He knew hidden rules. He knew where to sit. He predicted everything. Whispers spread through the crowd. Emma looked toward Ethan. For the first time, she wasn't sure what to believe. Because Li Wei's words made sense. Too much sense. Ethan remained silent. Then he smiled. The same smile that always appeared when he found a weakness. Interesting. The hall turned toward him. If you're really reborn, Ethan stepped forward. Then tell us, what was the first hidden rule? Li Wei froze. Only for a second. But Ethan noticed. The hall noticed too. Students exchanged nervous glances. Li Wei quickly recovered. There are countless hidden rules. How would I remember? A few students nodded, but Ethan's eyes narrowed. Wrong answer. A real reborn candidate would never forget, because that rule had saved his life. The countdown continued. 53:44, 53:43, 53:42. Pressure filled the room. Then suddenly, ding! A golden notification appeared. Only Ethan could see it. Special mission activated. Find evidence against the false candidate. Reward. Future fragment. Failure unknown. Ethan's heart pounded. A future fragment? That had never appeared before. The timeline was changing again. Meanwhile, Li Wei quietly smiled. No one noticed. Except Ethan. That smile. The exact same smile from his previous life. The smile of someone who already knew he had won. Then the giant screen changed. A new challenge appeared. Truth test. Gasps filled the hall. Each candidate may ask one question. The system will verify the answer. The room exploded into excitement. Finally, a way to find the truth. Li Wei's confidence vanished for the first time. Ethan noticed immediately and smiled. Because he had finally found a crack in Li Wei's armor. The game had changed. And this time, Li Wei wasn't the only one with secrets. End of Chapter 6.
Chapter 7. The question only the dead could answer. The giant screen glowed red. Truth test active. The exam hall fell silent. Thousands of students stared at Ethan and Li Wei. One question, one answer. That was all it would take. The system spoke. Candidate Ethan may ask first. A countdown appeared. 60, 59, 28. The entire hall held its breath. Li Wei smiled, confident, relaxed, as if he had already won. Ask anything. I'm not afraid. Ethan stared at him, then smiled. Good. His voice echoed through the hall. If you're really reborn, then tell everyone. What was the final message displayed? Before the National Destiny exam, collapsed in the future? Silence. Absolute silence. The students looked confused. Teachers exchanged nervous glances. Only a real reborn candidate could know the answer. Because that event hadn't happened yet, Li Wei's smile disappeared. For the first time, A tiny crack appeared in his perfect mask. 57, 26. I'm Stifa. The timer continued. Sweat formed on Li Wei's forehead. Ethan watched carefully. In his previous life, the final message had appeared moments before the entire system went dark. Only survivors had seen it. Only people who were there until the end could answer. Li Wei finally spoke. It said, the hall leaned forward. Everyone listening. It said, humanity failed. Ding! The giant screen flashed. Red, then green, then red again. The entire hall froze. Answer verified. Everyone held their breath. Then the system responded. Incorrect. Gasps exploded across the room. Li Wei's eyes widened. No, that's impossible. The students immediately backed away from him. Whispers spread like wildfire. He got it wrong. Then he's fake? It has to be him. But Ethan didn't celebrate, because something felt wrong. Very wrong. The real answer wasn't humanity failed. The real answer was, the door was never locked. A message nobody should know. A message hidden at the very end of the future timeline. Then suddenly, Li Wei started laughing. Everyone froze. Why was he laughing? He had just failed. His laughter echoed through the hall. Slow, calm, terrifying. Then he looked directly at Ethan and smiled. You're right. The hall froze. Li Wei raised his hands. I lied. Gasps erupted. Then his smile widened. But that wasn't my real answer. Ding! A black notification appeared on the giant screen, one Ethan had never seen before. Hidden authority detected. The lights flickered. The floor trembled. Students screamed. Teachers backed away. Li Wei's eyes began glowing faintly gold. And for the first time since Rebirth, Ethan felt fear, real fear, because he finally understood. Li Wei wasn't a reborn candidate. He wasn't a survivor. He wasn't even a student. He was something the system itself feared. End of Chapter 7.
Chapter 8. The System's Enemy. The exam hall shook violently. The giant screen flickered. Hidden authority detected. The message remained frozen above thousands of students. Fear spread through the room. Nobody understood what it meant, except Ethan. And even he wasn't sure anymore. Li Wei stood in the center of the hall, calm, smiling, as if none of this surprised him. As if he had been expecting it, the system's voice returned. But something was different. For the first time, it sounded afraid. Warning! Unauthorized entity detected. The hall erupted into whispers. Unauthorized? What does that mean? Is someone cheating? Emma slowly backed away from Li Wei. Her instincts screamed that something was wrong. Very wrong. Suddenly, the lights went out. Darkness swallowed the entire hall. Students screamed. Teachers shouted for everyone to stay calm. Nobody listened. Then a golden light appeared. It wasn't coming from the ceiling. It wasn't coming from the giant screen. It was coming from Li Wei. Golden symbols floated around him. Ancient symbols, older than the system itself. Ethan's eyes widened. He recognized them, not from this life, from the future. From the final day before the National Destiny exam collapsed. The day millions disappeared. The day Ethan died. Li Wei looked directly at him, then smiled. You remember? Ethan froze. Li Wei took another step forward. So you really came back? The words echoed through the hall. Emma stared at Ethan in shock. What does he mean? Before Ethan could answer, a black screen appeared above everyone, darker than any system notification before. System emergency lockdown. Boom. Every exit slammed shut. The giant doors sealed. The windows turned black. Nobody could escape. Students rushed toward the exits. Nothing opened. Panic spread. The countdown vanished. A new message appeared. Round 3 initiated. The hall became silent. Then the challenge appeared. Find the traitor among you. Immediately, students began accusing one another. Friends turned against friends. Trust disappeared in seconds. But Ethan ignored all of it. His eyes never left Li Wei, because he had finally realized something terrifying. Li Wei wasn't trapped inside the exam. He wasn't fighting the system. He wasn't another reborn student. He had entered the exam willingly. Then Li Wei whispered words that made Ethan's blood run cold. Round 3 is where you died last time. Ethan's heart stopped. That memory belonged only to him. Nobody should know it. Nobody. Li Wei's smile widened. Let's see if you can survive it twice. Chapter 9. The traitor hunt begins. The giant screen glowed crimson. Round 3. Find the traitor among you. The message hung above the hall like a death sentence. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Then the countdown appeared. 0 to waste on. 2 hours. 2 hours to find a traitor nobody could identify. Panic exploded instantly. Students began accusing one another. Friends argued. Classmates turned against classmates. Trust vanished. Ethan remained seated, watching, listening, thinking, because he remembered this round. In his previous life, the students never found the traitor. They destroyed themselves instead. A new system message appeared. Rule 1. Every hour, one clue will be revealed. The students immediately calmed down. At least they had a chance. At least there was a way to solve it. Then another message appeared. Rule 2. The traitor does not know they are the traitor. Silence. Absolute silence. What? How is that possible? Then who do we investigate? The room erupted into confusion. Even the teachers looked shocked. Ethan's expression darkened. He remembered this rule, and he remembered the outcome. The traitor wasn't evil. The traitor wasn't hiding. The traitor was simply carrying something. Something dangerous. Then, ding, the first clue appeared. Clue number 1. The traitor returned from outside the exam hall. Everyone froze. Returned? Immediately, students began shouting. Who left the hall earlier? Who came back late? Think. Emma's face suddenly turned pale. Ethan noticed immediately. His heart sank, because before registration began, Emma had disappeared for 10 minutes, and she had never explained where she went. Emma looked at Ethan. Fear filled her eyes. You don't think... Ethan didn't answer, because he was remembering something else. In his previous life, the traitor had also disappeared before the exam started. But Emma wasn't the traitor. He knew that. At least, he thought he knew. Then Li Wei smiled. A small smile, almost invisible. And for the first time, Ethan noticed something strange. Li Wei wasn't looking at Emma. He was looking at someone sitting behind her. A quiet student, a boy Ethan had never noticed before. The boy immediately lowered his head, avoiding eye contact. Ding! A private notification appeared before Ethan. Only he could see it. Special alert. Future fragment unlocked. A broken memory flashed before his eyes. A dark hallway. A shadow. A student wearing a school badge. And one terrifying sentence. The traitor was the first victim. Ethan's eyes widened. What did that mean? Before he could think further, the countdown dropped. And the hunt officially began. End of Chapter 9. Chapter 10. Emma's Secret. The countdown continued. 01 to 32 SC. Students searched desperately for clues, but Ethan had stopped paying attention to the crowd because something else bothered him. Emma. The first clue pointed directly at her. The traitor returned from outside the exam hall, and before registration began, Emma had disappeared. Ethan walked toward her. The noise of the hall faded. For a moment it was just the two of them. Where did you go? Emma froze. Her face immediately paled. What? You heard me. Before the exam. Where did you go? Emma looked away. For the first time since Rebirth, she seemed genuinely afraid. I don't remember. Ethan frowned. That answer was impossible. You disappeared for 10 minutes. You expect me to believe you forgot? Emma grabbed her head. A sudden pain shot through her mind. Fragments appeared. A dark corridor. A locked metal door. A strange symbol. Then, nothing. Emma gasped. Her memory vanished again. At the same moment, ding, a new system notification appeared. Only Ethan could see it. Future fragment synchronization, 27%. A memory flooded his mind. In his previous life, there had been a girl who remembered nothing. A girl everyone accused of being the traitor. She died during round 3. Ethan's eyes widened. That girl had been Emma. Before he could speak, the giant screen flashed. Second clue revealed. The entire hall looked up. Clue number 2. The traitor lost part of their memory. Silence. Absolute silence. Then every eye slowly turned toward Emma. No. Emma stepped backward. Students began whispering. She disappeared. Now she has memory loss. It's definitely her. The accusations grew louder. Emma looked terrified. She searched the crowd, looking for someone, anyone, but nobody defended her. Nobody except Ethan, because Ethan remembered something else. In his previous life, the real traitor had wanted everyone to suspect Emma, which meant someone in this room was manipulating the clues. Ethan immediately looked toward Li Wei. Li Wei smiled, not surprised, not confused, as if everything was going exactly according to plan. Then a private message appeared before Ethan. Warning. The traitor is about to be eliminated. Ethan's heart stopped, because if Emma died now, history would repeat itself, and the real traitor would escape again. End of Chapter 10. Chapter 11. The Elimination Vote. The giant screen flashed blood red. Elimination vote initiated. The hall froze. Students stopped arguing, stopped whispering, stopped breathing. A new countdown appeared. 00 10 minutes. 10 minutes to decide who would be eliminated. Then the system spoke. Every student must vote. The highest voted candidate will be removed immediately. Panic exploded. Everyone already knew who the target was. Emma. She stood alone in the center of the hall. Hundreds of eyes stared at her. Some fearful, some angry, some relieved. Because if Emma was eliminated, everyone else might survive. The second clue remained on the screen. The traitor lost part of their memory. The evidence pointed directly at her. Emma's hands trembled. No, it wasn't me. Nobody listened. One student stood up. We all saw her panic. Another pointed. She disappeared before the exam. A third shouted, "She's the traitor." Soon the entire hall joined in. "Vote Emma! Vote Emma! Vote Emma!" Ethan clenched his fists. History was repeating itself, exactly as before. Then, a new memory appeared. Another future fragment. A flash. A classroom. A broken window. A student screaming. And then, a face. Ethan froze. The face wasn't Emma. It was the quiet boy sitting behind her. The same boy Li Wei had been watching. The memory vanished. Ding. Future fragment synchronization 42%. Ethan's heartbeat accelerated. The real traitor wasn't Emma. It never had been. But he had no proof. The countdown continued. 0512, 0511, 0510. Emma looked at Ethan. Tears filled her eyes. She already knew nobody would believe her. Then Li Wei smiled. The same smile. The smile of someone waiting for a trap to close. Suddenly, the voting screen appeared. Every student received a glowing panel. Select your target. Names filled the display. Emma's name immediately climbed to first place. Hundreds of votes, then thousands. Her face turned white. Ethan looked at the quiet boy. The boy lowered his head, avoiding eye contact. Then Ethan noticed something impossible. The boy's vote panel was blank. Everyone else's panel had activated. His hadn't. A cold chill ran through Ethan. The system wasn't asking him to vote, because the system already knew who he was. Ethan stood up and pointed directly at the quiet boy. The entire hall turned. The boy slowly raised his head and smiled, a smile even more terrifying than Chapter 12. The quiet boy revealed. The hall fell silent. Ethan's finger pointed directly at the quiet boy. Thousands of eyes turned toward him. The countdown continued. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. The boy slowly lifted his head. For the first time since the exam began, he smiled. It wasn't a normal smile. It was calm, cold, almost relieved. Emma stared. "Who is he?" The boy stood up. His desk disappeared, vanishing into particles of light. Gasps erupted throughout the hall. The voting screen immediately froze. Every countdown stopped. Every system panel flickered. Then the giant screen turned black. A single sentence appeared. Error. Unregistered candidate detected. The hall exploded into panic. What does that mean? He's not registered? Then how did he enter? Even the teachers looked terrified. Ethan's heart sank. Because he remembered, in his previous life, there had never been a quiet boy. Nobody like him had existed, which meant only one thing. He wasn't supposed to be here. Li Wei smiled from across the hall, almost as if he had been waiting for this moment. The quiet boy looked directly at Ethan, then spoke. "Thank you." The hall froze. "What?" The boy laughed softly. "If you hadn't pointed at me, I would have stayed hidden until the final round." Emma's face turned white. The giant screen suddenly flashed red. Traitor identified. The students cheered. Some cried with relief. Others collapsed from exhaustion. Finally, the nightmare was over, or so they thought. The quiet boy shook his head. No. The system immediately responded. Warning! Target does not match traitor profile. The cheering stopped. Everyone froze. The screen continued. The traitor has not been found. The hall descended into chaos. What? Then who is he? The boy smiled. Then golden cracks appeared across his skin, like glass beginning to shatter. Ethan stepped backward. Li Wei stopped smiling. For the first time, the quiet boy looked toward him. Found me already? Li Wei's eyes narrowed. You shouldn't have entered this exam. The boy laughed. Neither should you. The entire hall trembled. Then the boy's body shattered into golden light, and a final message appeared across every screen. Round 4 unlocked. The false world. Ethan's face turned pale, because he remembered that name. In his previous life, nobody survived round 4. End of Chapter 12. Chapter 13. The false world begins. A blinding white light swallowed the exam hall. Students screamed. Then everything disappeared. Ethan opened his eyes. Silence. No countdown. No system. No giant screens. He stood in the middle of a beautiful city. Sunlight filled the streets. People laughed. Children played. Everything looked perfect. Too perfect. A soft voice echoed. Round 4. The false world. Welcome home. Ethan's heart sank. He remembered this round. The deadliest round of all. Because there were no monsters. No traps. No battles. Only temptation. The world gave each person their greatest wish. Then trapped them inside it forever. Ethan began running. He needed to find Emma. Li Wei. Anyone. But the city felt endless. Then he stopped. Standing across the street was his mother. Ethan froze. His mother smiled warmly. Just like before she died. Tears filled his eyes. No. She walked toward him. Alive. Healthy. Happy. The exact person he had lost years ago. For one dangerous moment, Ethan wanted to believe it. Then he remembered. Nothing in the false world is real. The illusion flickered, only for a second, and Ethan saw something terrifying. Behind his mother's smile, her eyes were empty. The city around him glitched, buildings distorted, people froze, then returned to normal. The world was breaking. Elsewhere, Emma opened her eyes. She stood on a stage. Thousands of people cheered her name. Every dream she had ever wanted. Success, fame, love. She smiled, completely forgetting the exam, completely forgetting Ethan. And that was exactly what the false world wanted. Meanwhile, Liwei stood alone in darkness. Nothing appeared. No city, no family, no dream. The false world couldn't create a wish for him. For the first time, Liwei looked worried. Then a hidden system message appeared. Only Ethan could see it. Warning: if a candidate accepts their false world, they will never wake up. Ethan clenched his fists. He had survived this round once. Barely. But last time, Emma never escaped. This time would be different, because now he knew the truth. The false world wasn't testing strength. It was testing what people were willing to let go. End of Chapter 13. Chapter 14. The Choice. Ethan ran through the false world. Every second mattered. Every second Emma stayed inside the illusion, the harder it would be for her to leave. The city around him shimmered. Buildings flickered. People smiled endlessly. Everything was perfect. Too perfect. The hidden warning still floated before him. If a candidate accepts their false world, they will never wake up. Ethan clenched his fists. Last time he had failed. Last time Emma never escaped. This time would be different. Suddenly, the world shifted. The city vanished. Ethan found himself standing inside his old home. His mother sat at the dinner table. His father smiled. A warm meal waited for him. His heart nearly broke. This was his deepest wish. His lost family. His mother looked up. Ethan, come home. For a moment, he wanted to. Then he remembered the warning. Everything around him began cracking like glass. The illusion was fighting back. A new message appeared. Final temptation detected. The room became brighter, warmer, more real. The false world wanted him to stay. Ethan closed his eyes, then whispered, "You aren't real." Crack! The house shattered into light. The illusion collapsed. Ethan opened his eyes. A dark, empty space stretched before him. And there, he found Emma. She stood on a beautiful stage. Thousands of people cheered. Music played. Lights filled the sky. Emma smiled happily. She didn't recognize him. She had forgotten everything. Emma! She didn't respond. Emma! Still nothing. The crowd continued cheering. The illusion had become her reality. Then Ethan noticed something. A glowing crystal floated above the stage. The source of the dream. The heart of the false world. A system message appeared. Destroy the wish, or lose the candidate forever. Ethan froze. Destroy the wish? If he broke the crystal, Emma would wake up. But she would lose everything she had inside the dream. The fame, the happiness, the perfect life. For the first time, Ethan hesitated. Then a familiar voice echoed behind him. Liwei, you already know the answer. Ethan turned. Liwei stood in the darkness, watching, waiting. The false world doesn't trap people, Liwei said quietly. It traps their regrets. Ethan looked at Emma, then at the crystal. Finally, he raised his hand and made his choice. End of Chapter 14. Chapter 15. The Last Candidate. Ethan stared at the glowing crystal. Emma's dream world shimmered around him. Thousands cheered. Lights filled the sky. A perfect illusion. A perfect prison. Liwei stood silently behind him, waiting. The system message remained frozen. Destroy the wish, or lose the candidate forever. Ethan closed his eyes, then remembered everything. The exam hall, the countdown, the betrayals, the deaths, his rebirth. He raised his hand and struck the crystal. Crack! The stage trembled. The cheering stopped. Emma froze. Crack! The crystal split apart. Light exploded across the false world. The entire illusion began collapsing. Ethan! Emma's voice echoed. For the first time, she remembered. The stage vanished. The crowd disappeared. The dream was gone. Emma fell forward. Ethan caught her. You came back, she whispered. I promised I would. The false world shattered completely. Darkness swallowed everything. Then a final screen appeared. Round 4 complete. Candidates remaining. 3. Ethan, Emma, Liwei. The last 3. The darkness suddenly transformed. A massive golden gate appeared before them. Ancient, endless, covered in symbols. The final gate. Then the system spoke. For the last time. Final question. Who should control the National Destiny exam? 3 choices appeared. 1. The system. Liwei. 3. Ethan. Silence. Emma looked at Ethan. Liwei looked at the gate. Then Ethan finally understood. The exam was never created to choose the strongest. It was created to find someone capable of ending it. Liwei smiled. You figured it out. For the first time, Liwei looked tired. I've been trapped here longer than you can imagine. The truth hit Ethan. Li Wei wasn't the villain. He had been trying to break the system all along. Every round, every clue, every test, leading Ethan here. The gate opened. A final choice appeared. End the exam. Ethan smiled, then pressed it. The gate shattered. The system cracked apart. The giant voice disappeared. The countdowns vanished forever. The National Destiny exam ended. Sunlight appeared. Real sunlight. The illusion was gone. The system was gone. The future was finally free. Emma laughed. For the first time in a long time, Li Wei looked toward the sky, then slowly faded into light. Before disappearing, he smiled. Good luck, Ethan. And he was gone. Months later, Ethan and Emma stood outside their university. Normal students, normal lives. No system, no countdown, no destiny, only freedom. Ethan looked at the sunrise and smiled.